Okay, welcome everyone. For those of you whose this is your first GM, my name is Simon and I'm the Guild Chairperson, so I'm a member of the Executive Committee whose role it is to organise these meetings. So this is our second Guild GM this academic year. We have quite a full agenda this year. We've got 2 policy motions which have been submitted, but I'm hoping we'll get through it in about an hour. As always, we have the usual mobile phone number, which will appear at the bottom of each of these slides, so you can text a question during the meeting if you want to. You'll also find on the back of your GM booklet 4 little boxes, which you can tell of, write a question, and either bring it to the front or give it to someone who's got a purple t-shirt at the side of the room, and they'll bring it to the front for you. Or alternatively, when we're discussing policy motions, you can put your hand up with your GM booklet just so it's really obvious, and you can ask a question from the floor. You can only do that if it's a point of information, but I'll cover that more closely when we get to the motions. So we move on. It's not the laser, Igor, it's the button. Yes, sorry. We have one last-minute addition to the agenda, which is the opening of nominations for the Elections Committee. This was announced at the last GM, but unfortunately no one put their name forward to be on the Elections Committee. So I'm opening up elections once again for nominations for the Elections Committee. The Elections Committee is responsible for working with the returning officer, who is the Guild General Manager Gellert, to make sure that the Guild's elections that are run in March for sabbatical and executive officers are run well and fairly and in accordance with the Guild Constitution. So if you just write your name on a bit of paper, any bit of paper you've got, and just bring it to the front and just pop it onto the stage, and then we'll deal with elections towards the end of the meeting. And then, actually I missed a bit, sorry, apologies from executive officers. Do we have any?
There was one. There was an apology from Tony Hawkins.
Tony Hawkins, okay, just for the minutes. Okay, moving on to the big bit of the agenda. We've kindly been joined by Professor Martin Jones. Go back, Tommy. Eager. We've been joined by Professor Martin Jones, who's the Vice Chancellor for Learning and Teaching at the university, who's agreed to do a question and answer session with people here for about 10 to 15 minutes. He's going to come up, is that okay? And just give a quick 1 or 2 minute speech about what his job at the university involves. And then if you've got any questions for Professor Jones during the meeting, just write them on a bit of paper or text them through to the number you can see at the bottom of the slide. Or I'll read it out, just 07756231190. So yeah, just questions. I can only accept questions for this through text message or by written onto a bit of paper. Okay? So yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Simon. It's good to be here. Good to see so many people here on a cold evening. My name is Martin Jones. I'm Pro-Vice Chancellor for Learning and Teaching, Student Experience and Student Support. So there's 3 Pro-Vice Chancellors in the university. Professor Alan Jones, who covers Research Enterprise and Welsh Medium. Professor John Harris, who covers Services and Estates. And my remit is Learning and Teaching, will be defined. I'm also from the Institute of Geography and Earth Sciences. So I'm a personal chair in Geography and Earth Sciences. Pro-Vice Chancellors are appointed for a 3-year period of office, which if you don't make a complete mess of it, you get invited to do a further 3 years afterwards. I was a Dean of Social Science before that, and then head of geography and earth sciences for 3 years before that. I've been in Aberystwyth for 12 years. I've only ever been in this building once before now, in an evening. When I first came here in 1998, it was the first job that I had when I came into Aberystwyth in terms of higher education. I completed a PhD in Manchester in 1996, and then did a few things before I came here. I'm committed to Aberystwyth. I don't want to live or work anywhere else. I came here originally for a 3-year fixed contract, and never intended to stay. And the I Love Aber campaign is something that I hold true at the same time. I'm committed to the student experience in Aberystwyth, committed to working closely with the Guild and the President and the sabbatical officers. I meet with John and the SABs on a weekly basis. We see each other for far too often in committees that basically spend most of my life. I spent 8 hours in 8 staffing committees watching the Guild officers and John ask cheeky questions and interrogations of senior management. I have a good working relationship with John and colleagues, so I'm interested in hearing any comments you've got about the university or about higher education. Higher education is going through a whole series of changes, and I would note that the campaigns that you were involved in were also involved in through the UCU, although the media reported it as students only. The UCU were involved in the campaigns that you've been involved in, and strongly support the process against which the changes that we're going through. If you saw the Minister speaking a couple of days ago, there's still a lot of unanswered questions in Wales about the changes in terms of the Brown and the post-speech regime. Looking forward to any questions you've got later on that text message. I'm happy to answer questions about any aspect of the university. Things I'm trying to do this calendar year with John and colleagues to drive up student representation and experience. The university has funded a 3-year post of representation and experience coordinator in terms of driving up the student voice in departmental level, but also driving up, I think John, you'd agree, driving up political awareness in terms of having your say across the university, making sure your voices are articulated, and we're listening to you, but also more importantly, that we're acting on the things that you care about. The institution is going through an institutional review in 2 years' time, and one of the things that the review team will do will be to triangulate that we listen to you, but also triangulate that we act on what you want to do. So we read all the minutes of your staff student consultative committees and make sure that we act on the things that you care about and the things that you're passionate about. But I'm interested in fielding any questions later. Thank you for the invitation as well. Thank you.
I've got one for you now, Professor Jones, if you'd like to answer. First question, what are the priorities to keeping the university in this climate of cuts that we're going through, or what particular services will affect? So what is the university planning to keep, and what is the university planning to cut?
Well, as you know, as part of this regime change, it's difficult. It's unpredictable to know what the situation is. I would calculate the cuts at about £3 million. If you look at it, I think we'll have an in-year cut of just over £1 million. That's an in-year financial cut, and the rest of it will come in the next year. The answer to that question is something that we're reviewing. The university is going through a sustainability improvement exercise that we have had a consultants company called PA Consulting in for a while. One of the things that we're going to be reviewing is whether there's duplication between departments in terms of academic departments. There seems there's duplication between service departments, and also seeing if there's things that we can sell in terms of assets. The university has quite a lot of assets in terms of land and assets that it's not using. And so we're re-looking at our asset register to see if we can, rather than make cuts, that we can actually make savings, but also, instead of making cuts, one of the things that we're going to look at is where we can grow the business. There are several markets that we can tap and increase our income stream. So rather than thinking about cuts, one of the discussions that I'm involved in with senior management colleagues is how we can be more sustainable by being more effective, more efficient, saving money, but also growing the business at the same time. Until we know the level of the cuts, it's very difficult to be specific on your question, but the one thing that I am committed to is to basically protecting frontline services that kind of protect students. But then you ask yourself, what's frontline? In fact, everything becomes frontline. So, one of the commitments the university has is the student experience. It's one of the things that we need to protect going forward. It's one of the things that we hold true. It's one of the brands of this university. So I'm going to give a kind of ramble now.
Okay. We've got a couple more questions coming through now.